This session's presenter leads the team of Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat media buyers at Common Thread Collective, developing frameworks and techniques for scaling ad accounts. She's personally managed over $10 million in ad spend at a profitable return. And in this talk, she'll share how to use Facebook ads, machine learnings to execute campaigns that scale. Please welcome the paid media manager at Common Thread Collective, Savannah Sanchez. Hello, Savannah.
Hey, everybody. Just testing sound. Can you guys hear me okay?
Absolutely. We can hear you fine. So what I'm going to do is put the presenting screen over to yourself. So whenever you're ready, just share your presentation, and we are looking forward to hearing from you.
Great. Thanks for having me.
So lovely. We'll get Savannah's screen just up in a second there. Remember, just reading your comment there, Paul. Thank you very much indeed for that. Make sure, and Larry as well. Thank you, Larry. So Savannah's just going to be sharing her screen in a second here. We've got your screen in front of us, and that's it's available in full screen mode. So we can see the 5 machine learning updates is the title of your talk. So take it away, please.
Perfect. Hey, everybody. Thank you, and welcome to my talk. Today, I'm talking about 5 machine learning updates that you can use to be more profitable on your Facebook and Instagram spend. So just to go over the agenda for today, first, I'm going to give an introduction to the Power 5 and those machine learning updates, and then go into an in-depth case study of how we were able to use these updates in order to scale one of our clients. And lastly, since we know that Q4 is coming up and holiday is on all of our minds, I'm going to go over some of the key strategies we're going to be using to scale our clients during holiday. And I just wanted to say before I start, the replay to this will be available, and we can also send out the link to this deck. I'm jam-packing this with a ton of information, so don't stress, don't try to write everything down. I'm going to provide a link at the end to download. But yeah, we're just going to jam through a ton of information, and please feel free to ask questions at the end. Great. So a little bit of an introduction to Common Thread Collective. That is the advertising agency I work at, and we purely exist to help entrepreneurs achieve their dreams. Specifically, we partner with e-commerce entrepreneurs who are looking to scale on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Google, and we help them with their ad spend. So we're excited to be talking to entrepreneurs like yourself today. And then a bit more about me. My name is Savannah Sanchez. Like I mentioned, I'm the paid media manager at Common Thread Collective Ad Agency. So what that means is that I'm managing the paid media teams that are running the Facebook ads, as well as media buying on some of our top accounts, spending over $500,000 in ad spend each month on these accounts. So the great thing about working at an agency is I have access to data across a lot of different segments in e-commerce, and we get to do a lot of testing. So I'm excited to share with you all of the stuff we found out over the last year. So one of the things that I realized over the last year, which was actually very hard for me to accept as a media buyer, is Facebook is so much smarter than me. Any individual decision that I can make based off the data on my dashboard is completely insignificant compared to the machine learning power that Facebook has. So I did have to come to accept this fact. And once I was able to accept that Facebook's smarter than me, I was able to use my time more efficiently so that I can take advantage of Facebook's machine learning so I can focus on the stuff that actually matters, that humans are good at. So here is a representation of me fighting with the fact that a robot is way smarter than my individual decision-making and ad accounts. I think a lot of ad buyers wrestle with this fact and they don't want to give up control. They're like, no, Facebook's not in my best interest, or like, I need to be manually hacking my way to ad success. But once you accept the fact that the robot's smarter than you, stop fighting it, let the robots take over. You're going to be so much better off. So this is my introduction to the Power 5. So for those of you who haven't heard of the Power 5, this is a methodology that Facebook released this year into how you can release some control and let Facebook take over in these machine learning aspects. In particular, today I'm going to be going over auto advanced matching, account simplification, campaign budget optimization, automatic placements, and dynamic ads. So the first one I want to go over is auto advanced matching. And this one is probably the simplest of the concepts. So what this means is that when someone is entering their website information, their email information on your website or their phone number when they're on the checkout page, the pixel on the Facebook pixel on the website can pick up this information and match it to your Facebook dashboard. So all you have to do to turn on auto advanced matching is go to Events Manager, toggle on auto advanced matching, and you're good to go. It's just going to help you more accurately represent who is converting on your website and take that information over to Facebook. So this is super simple. You can turn this on right away and start implementing the Power 5. The second one is dynamic ads. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this before. This is with a catalog sales objective on the campaign setup. So what you do is you connect your product catalog from your Shopify or however you're hosting your website to your Facebook. And what it'll do is that for people who are adding something to cart on their website or are viewing a product on your website, they'll see the same products once they're on Facebook and Instagram. So that's the dynamic part of it, that Facebook is dynamically choosing which products from your catalog to show people who are recently on your website. It requires very minimal setup. Like I said, just a catalog sales objective, and you can use carousel format, collections, single images. Something that's also really interesting that we've been testing a lot this year is dynamic ads to a broad audience, AKA DABA, if you've heard of that acronym before. And what that means is that Facebook will take your product catalog and show your product images to prospecting, so people who have never heard of your brand. And it'll dynamically test which images from your product catalog to show first, so that you can actually acquire new customers just using your product catalog. So I would highly recommend setting up dynamic ads, both for prospecting and your retargeting audiences. The third portion of the Power 5 is automatic placements. And I think this is where I get in the most fights with other media buyers over. People hate giving up control when it comes to choosing placements. And I love that this graph that Facebook provides at the bottom right, it says, automatic placements equals lower costs and manual placements equals less optimal results and more control. And that couldn't be more true by letting go of choosing where you want your ad to be shown. So what automatic placements does is that you upload your ad creative and Facebook will decide whether to show it on Facebook feed, Facebook store, Instagram stories, Instagram newsfeed, mobile, desktop, audience network, messenger. You're basically telling Facebook, like, just show my ad where we're going to get the lowest cost results. And the thing is that the data set that Facebook has on your ideal customers is so much better than your individual decision making. So I can make a guess that, oh, I think my ideal customer is going to convert from an Instagram feed. But Facebook has individual information about where people are most likely to convert. So why not let Facebook show your ads where your customers are most likely to convert and where you can get the lowest cost conversions? So automatic placements can allow you to do that. And I want to show you an example of that as well. So this graph on the right represents opportunities to show your ad on Audience Network, Instagram, Facebook, and it also shows the red circles around, which represents a conversion on those. So the novice media buyer would look at this and say, I'm getting $5 conversions on Instagram, where I'm getting $3 conversions on Facebook. I'm just going to eliminate Instagram from getting my ads being shown there because it's too expensive. But what you don't realize when you do this is that it actually gives you less optimal results. So if you were to take out Instagram from being shown and you're still forcing Facebook to spend the same budget, it's going to put your ad spend towards less optimal results. So you can see on the top, and now it's finding those $7 conversions from Audience Network. So by allowing Facebook to just take over where you're showing the placements and not putting parameters on where it can show your ads, you're actually going to get lower cost results. If you can get a lower cost conversion on Messenger or Audience Network or on Instagram stories, why not take it? That's my position, especially for our e-commerce brands who are trying to scale and we want to get the most maximum delivery as possible. By putting parameters and telling Facebook, no, I don't want you showing on Instagram or whatever it is, it's just limiting the amount of opportunities to deliver, and it's just going to drive up your cost per results. So that is why I highly recommend automatic placements. The fourth part of Power 5 is campaign budget optimization. And what this means is that instead of individually choosing budgets on the ad set level, or for choosing audiences, for example, what you're doing is you're telling Facebook, hey, this is my daily budget for my campaign. I'm gonna let Facebook decide which audience to spend my budget on. So for example, campaign on the top, let's say you chose 3 audiences. You are selling a dog product and you have your dog lover audience, a Petco audience, and your mom's audience, whatever it is, your 3 audiences in your ad set. And the old way of buying is you would say, I want to spend $10 on audience 1, $10 on audience 2, 10 on audience 3. And you can get some good results, but the thing is you're manually choosing where you want the budget. You're probably gonna have to make budget choices every day. and you don't have access to the full data set of what's going to happen in the future. Whereas with campaign budget optimization, you're still loading up your 3 audiences, but I'm telling Facebook, hey, my total budget's $30. You do with it what you want. You know where the best results are going to be. And every day, Facebook will choose where to put your budget. So as you can see on the bottom, they put $7 towards ads at 1, $18 towards ads at 2, $5 on ads at 3. So that's going to save you so much time from having to make manual budget changes. And like I said, Facebook has the best information of which audience is most likely to convert. So why not rely on the algorithm and get some precious time back and lower your costs? And this is something we've adopted over all of our agency accounts, is campaign budget optimization. And it's going to become the mandate in January. So might as well start testing the campaign budget optimization now. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about account consolidation. And for anyone who's been media buying for a while, I'm sure this is exactly what your Facebook campaigns looked like. I'm guessing you had hundreds of campaigns with hundreds of ad sets inside. Crazy, crazy madness. It was so confusing to see which creatives are actually working, what audiences are actually working, and being able to make actionable decisions off data, because all of your data is spread out over so many audiences. And imagine if you're not using campaign budget optimization, so you're making manual budget changes to every single ad set on the daily. This can literally be a 24/7 job, and it was. But what we've been able to do, and this is what the Power of 5 is recommending, is you can actually limit the number of campaigns and limit the number of ad sets. Facebook recommends to have less than 15 ad sets live at one given time and have over 70% out of the learning phase. So this means that you're consolidating information on a limited number of audiences and campaigns. And what Facebook's able to do is able to optimize better. So it's going to get more learnings on each individual ad set. And also you'll be able to see much more clearly what's actually working in terms of creative and audiences. And their time to manage is going to go way down. So you're going to get so much precious time back, and you'll actually get better results. So doing it the complicated way actually gives you worse results than doing it the easy way. One of the very few times in life that's the case. But I promise you, if you test this out, you will get better results than having hundreds of ad sets and trying to make individual decisions on each one. So I'm the type of person where I want to be like, okay, I got the theory. I want to see how this looks like in practice. So this is a screenshot from one of my accounts. I will usually have 5 campaigns running. I'll have 2 for prospecting. One will be a dynamic creative test, which I'll go into a lot more detail on later. And then I'll have my re-engagement audiences, which is Instagram, Facebook, video viewers. And then I'll have remarketing for my website traffic, as well as my dynamic product ads, which I mentioned in the beginning. So a very simple setup. You can also see that I'm using campaign budget optimization, because I'm setting a daily budget on the campaign level as opposed to the ad set level. And I'm also using cost caps, which I'll dive into a bit later. But it's a practice that I use on every single one of my accounts that it's also been able to let me lower my costs. So again, I'm going to have all this information to download later and plenty of more resources. I'm going to share a link with you at the end of this presentation. So don't worry, you're going to get access to all this great stuff. And so a little bit more about how this looks in practice. So prospecting, I have my campaigns at the top of the funnel where I'm targeting lookalikes and broad audiences, and re-engagement, which is Instagram, Facebook engagers, getting slowly more down the funnel to my website visitors. And then lastly, my dynamic product ads to show people who recently viewed content or added to cart the products that they're reviewing. So what can machine learning help you decide? First, it can help you decide who to show your ads to. So by using a campaign budget optimization and by utilizing a consolidated account structure, Facebook can best choose who to show your ads to and also what to show the people. So using dynamic ads, like I mentioned, is taking your product catalog, and Facebook is dynamically testing which product to show your customer. So let Facebook decide what. Let Facebook decide where to show your ads. So utilizing automatic placements. So whether someone's going to most likely convert on Instagram stories or Facebook feed, desktop, mobile. It's not up to you to know that information. Rely on Facebook's vast data sets on all their customers so that you can rely on Facebook to show where to show your ad. And lastly, when. Facebook knows when your customers are most likely to convert when most people are online. It's not up to you to say, I think that my customer is going to convert between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. because they're on lunch break, like right now, for many of you on the East Coast. So let Facebook decide what time of day and what frequency to show your ads. So what does this for you to do as a media buyer or a brand owner. And I say that your job should be 100% focused on the why. So why should someone buy your product, or why should someone care? It is your job to focus on strategic thinking, big picture about your website, your products, and really dialing down that creative strategy. And as a media buyer, being able to use the scientific method and creative testing can help you do that. So let Facebook decide on who, what, where, when. You can focus on the why, because machines can't do that yet. It's a unique human ability to be able to come up with strategic thinking. So lastly, reasons why we at Common Thread Collective have heavily adopted the Power of 5, maximize media efficiency. So we've been able to achieve better results with our clients by utilizing these tactics, and maximize organizational efficiencies. So we're able to get our precious time back so that we can focus more on strategic thinking as opposed to just button pushing and trying to manually hack ad sets. Because the way of but there's a really great quote from Facebook. I'm trying to remember exactly how it said, but it says like the days of manually hacking your way to ad success are no longer. And I love that quote because basically Facebook telling us like you can't hack the system anymore. You might have been able to a year or 2 years ago or a couple years ago, but that's not the way that the algorithm is set right now. It's really for advertisers to focus on making great creatives and a great offer and not trying to hack your way to ad success. So part 2, machine learning in action, how we use these machine learning tactics and a few others I'm going to share to scale one of our clients' Love Wellness. So Love Wellness is one of our clients at Common Thread Collective. It was founded by a celebrity. She was on the hills, Lauren Bosworth, and she sells feminine health products and vitamins. And we've been working with them for a year now, and we've been able to achieve 6 or 4x return on ad spend at scale, which is amazing. And I'm going to share with you the exact process we were able to get there. So our ad buying strategy, we heavily utilize automatic placements and campaign budget optimization, which I went into detail on earlier. But the other 3 things I want to talk about is cost controls, broad audience, and dynamic creatives. Because I think that these were the big 3 things that really helped us scale this client in particular. So what are cost controls? So cost controls is a cost cap that you can set on the ad set level. And what this is you're basically telling Facebook, I don't want to show my ads unless you think that you can acquire someone for my cost per acquisition target. So in this case for Love Wellness, I set the cost control as $12 average cost per purchase. So if you can't find me a customer to convert at $12, don't show my ad at all. And what this helps you do, it won't waste money on people who aren't going to convert. So I'm using a purchase conversion objective. And I'm telling Facebook that you do not show my ads unless you think that someone's going to convert in my target. And the cost caps are something we've heavily utilized across all of our accounts to protect us from spending any bad money. Testing in broad. So this is also something I get a bit of pushback from other media buyers, but even Christina mentioned in the presentation before, testing in broad is the way to go. So using audiences of 2 million or above is what we generally recommend. And so what this allows Facebook to do, especially since you have your cost cap on now, so you're already telling Facebook, I don't want to show my ad unless they're going to convert for under $12. But now you're giving Facebook a wide range of people to show your ad to. So you're not setting any parameters or very, very broad parameters so that Facebook can properly optimize. So I have a game, and this is, can you guess the best audience? So these are a handful of audiences we tested for this client Love Wellness. I would love for you guys just to throw in the chat what you guys think was the highest performing audience. No answers yet?
Females 16 to 65. Everyone's saying 5%.
5%, okay. Great guess.
1%.
It was a trick question. Broad wins. So our best performing audience, we've done a ton of audience testing, and time over time, it was females 16 to 65 plus. So extremely broad. And because we're spending money at scale, and we have a cost cap on the ad set level. So we're telling Facebook, don't spend my money unless you can convert someone at $12 or less. Getting very broad parameters was the best performing audience. And we're just using our female audience now, which I find to be amazing. And something I want to reiterate is that you're never going to find a unicorn audience if you have bad creative. If you have bad creative or a bad product or a bad offer, you're never going to find a magical audience that's suddenly going to convert. So focus on making really great creative, a great website experience, and a great offer, and then you can just go broad. So this is really the secret sauce to Common Thread Collective, and I'm giving it all away. And this is dynamic creative testing. So this is a toggle that you also turn on the ad set level. And what this allows you to do is you can upload multiple video variations, multiple image variations, body copy, headlines. And what Facebook will do is it will dynamically pair all of these different combinations to your audience, and it will show the best combination. So you can imagine this is literally hundreds of combinations that it's testing at once. And we've been able to use dynamic creative in order to create very specific hypothesis testing each week so that we can see which creatives are working. So I have another game for you guys. This is called Guess the Best Performing Ad. So this is when we first launched as Client Love Wellness. And the first thing we always think about when we're launching a new client is ad types. So carousels versus a quote video with PR versus an Instagram story interview. So when we launch a new account, we always want to launch things that are very different from each other so that we can get an idea what road to go down. So in the chat, I would love for you guys to throw out which creative you think is the best. So left, middle, or right.
They're all saying IG story.
IG story. I like the way you're thinking on that. It was actually the PR quote. This video crushed it. So what did we do? We're like, let's double down on PR quote videos. Seems like the logical next step. So now we're testing different intro images. We're testing different PR sources. And so we're keeping some variables constant, such as the top text and the headline. And we're just testing, what is it about this PR video that was driving so much success? So again, can you guys guess which one out of these was the best performing? Left? I think you guys are catching on. We cannot beat this video. So now we're thinking, okay, maybe it is the intro image that's just really strong. I mean, you can see all the products. We kept everything the same. And the only thing we're testing here is changing the intro quote. So now it is purely just Forbes versus Birdie. Everything about this ad is the same. Any guesses? It was Forbes. So Forbes was the winner. So now we're like, okay, Forbes is the factor that is driving conversions. People trust Forbes. So what do? We triple down on Forbes. So now we're trying Forbes not only in a PR quote video, but we're trying it as a still image. We're trying different products with the Forbes quote. So we literally just made a ton of assets with Forbes. Any guesses on which one was the best here?
No guesses yet. 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
It was actually number 3. So we were finally able to beat out our first video. And this was the yellow background with the Forbes quote with these 3 products. So logical next step is let's take our product photo shots with a colored background. And we're just testing different products, same Forbes quote. So you can see what we're doing. We're using the scientific method each week so that we can slowly narrow down which is the factor that is driving conversions. So we can get more of the ads that are winning and just not take shots in the dark. So out of these ones, if you guys can guess the best performing. It was the 4th one. So utilizing the pills was actually, and this is the best performing product. So that actually makes a lot of sense that the killer would be paired with PR quote with Forbes was a fire ad. So now we're getting very granular with our testing. We're doing pills in versus pills out. And to let you guys know which one was the winner, it was pills out. So you can see how we're slowly narrowing down on our variables. And this is something we do every single week for all of our clients, is trying to isolate which variable is working and utilizing dynamic creative testing, that beautiful feature on Facebook, because that not only will build out your ads so much faster than building out all these different variations, but you'll also get to results faster. So Facebook will dynamically test all of the options to tell you which one is the best for your audience. So I highly recommend utilizing dynamic creative testing. So overall, my spiel on dynamic creative is it allows you to spend less time tinkering in your ad account, in your ad account, as I like to call it, and more time focusing on creative strategy. And that's where we really feel like our brain power is best used, is coming up with hypotheses each week, making really great creatives, and then utilizing creative testing in order to scale. So again, a really great graphic I got from Facebook: creativity times scale equals fire. And just some results to share from this case study that we did with Love Wellness. We were able to achieve a 4x ROAS return by using all of the Power 5 principles in addition to cost caps, broad audiences, and dynamic creative testing. And we were able to get a $12 cost per acquisition as compared to our original $25 target. So our client was super happy with this creative testing results. Part 3, key strategies to arbitrage holiday. So like I said, I not only want to talk about Power 5, but I really want to talk about holiday strategy since Q4 is on all of our minds right now. And at Common Thread Collective, all of our research and brain power is going into how we can scale for holiday. So I want to share with you some of those insights. So this is a narrative that is not uncommon. It is that CPMs, or cost per thousand impressions, are rising. So this is a graph from 2017, 2018, as you can see, slowly climbing up. This is due to more advertisers entering the platform, platforms getting more expensive, ad space price is going up. Pretty self-explanatory here. The golden age of advertising on Facebook is over. I'm sure you've heard that before. Used to be so cheap, now it's so expensive. Common narrative. And this is something we wanted to pull for what we saw for Black Friday results in 2018. So we always see the highest cost per 1,000 impressions right before Black Friday. So you can see that $13 is 28 days before Black Friday, so on that attribution window, and then the $18 represents on Black Friday. That weekend, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, is when the highest CPMs are for the year at $18 to $19. So again, it's very expensive to advertise during the most competitive time of the year. That's pretty basic. And so these results weren't surprising to me, but what I'm about to share next really surprised us all at Common Thread. The fact that we had to triple check our data because we were like, is this possible? So from 2018 to 2019 so far, CPMs have decreased by 25%. You heard that right. It has never been cheaper in the last 3 years to advertise on Facebook than it is now. It has literally decreased by 25% in 2019. And this blew my mind. I'm like, what do you mean? There's way more advertisers in 2019. Competition's increasing. How could the price of advertising average actually go down? And we did a lot of research on this, and we came to a very not surprising explanation, but it makes complete sense. It is the opening of the Instagram story placement that has allowed CPMs on average over Facebook and Instagram to decrease by 25%. So Facebook last year made a very smart move by copying Snapchat and then monetizing stories on their platform. And there's so many people that are viewing stories every day. And so the opening of this new ad space and the use of stories, over 5 million people using stories every hour. So this opening of this ad space has allowed CPMs to dramatically decrease. So super smart move from Facebook. And it makes sense why CPMs have decreased, because now there's a ton more available ad space through stories. And we also did the research from January to July. What are CPMs by placement? So this is not surprising. The most expensive placement to advertise on is always going to be Facebook feeds. That's where the most advertisers are trying to get their ads in front of. Those are usually the highest converting placements is Facebook feeds, followed by Instagram feeds. And then you can see at the very bottom, we have our Instagram stories and Snapchat. So those prices are more than 3 times less expensive to advertise on than on a Facebook feed. So that's why we think that there's a very unique opportunity leading into holiday to try to create more scale on Instagram stories and Snapchat in particular. The same goes for cost per click. So not only are you getting cheaper impressions on stories and Snapchat, but you're also getting cheaper traffic to your website. And as we know, in October, November, leading up to that big holiday moment, getting a lot of people on your website and getting familiar with the brand is super important. So in order to drive that top of the funnel traffic, we really believe that developing a strategy around stories, so Instagram stories and Snapchat stories, is a way to get very cheap traffic to your website. So something I always preach is like, I don't care necessarily about traffic. I only care if that traffic's converting, because like on Facebook, you can set a traffic objective and get a lot of cheap traffic, but they're going to be trash traffic. So not only do you want cheap traffic, but you want to make sure, is this traffic actually converting? And as we've seen from January to July, the ROAS on Instagram stories has very much increased. So this is becoming a profitable platform to advertise on. So not only is it cheaper impressions, cheaper traffic, but we're actually seeing a lot of great conversions come through on stories as well. So people are adopting the stories. They're starting to shop more on stories. So this is a really great opportunity for advertisers to start making a strategy around this platform in particular. So what do I recommend for holiday? So like I said, I still believe in the Power 5. I still believe in automatic placements. I'm not saying to just only do IG story. For holiday, you will need a full toolkit of assets. And these are assets that can be used across every single placement. So Facebook feeds, Instagram feeds, even stories can be used with Square assets. So you need to have a full toolkit that's a very wide variety of assets as well. And so that's what we're recommending for holiday. Develop your toolkit, a wide variety of assets. However, because Instagram stories is so unique, it's much different than any other placement. It's 15-second or less video for stories and 10 seconds or less video for Snapchat. And it's encouraging people to swipe up. So that's a very unique native function that's specific to stories that wouldn't work for any other placement. So you do have to make 9:16 very short videos or stills that are specific towards these story platforms that are encouraging people to swipe up to your website. It requires very specific content. And what we've seen on stories is that very organic looking content works the best. So having people talk to the camera, filming themselves on an iPhone, it has to almost look like your friend is filming a story. It shouldn't look like an ad. If you're trying to make very mass produced assets, like very like high produced videos, like that's not gonna work well in stories. You're gonna want something that looks very organic, influencer style, UGC. And yes, that is me in the videos. I make videos for some of my clients and making these organic looking ads. If you want a video, feel free to contact me. I would love to make you a video if you send me your product. So the key takeaways: embrace the Power 5 to reduce time and lower your cost of advertising. Utilize machine learning through dynamic creatives, cost caps, broad audiences, just like we did for Love Wellness in order to create a test. And then lastly, develop your content strategy. So your full toolkit of assets for holiday, but also you should be really taking advantage of stories and making assets that are very specific to IG story and Snapchat platforms, so you could take advantage of the cheapness of that ad placement before it gets saturated. I'm sure if I'm sitting here next year, stories are gonna get so much more competitive. We're still very much at the beginning of stories, and that's why it's so cheap. So there's never been a better time to take advantage of the Instagram stories and Snapchat platforms. So something I wanted to leave with you guys is youradmission.co. And Admission is a product that we developed at our agency, Common Thread Collective, to help entrepreneurs learn how to use their Facebook ad campaigns and learn how to scale. So what we did is we took all of our agency resources, all of our trainings, our default account structure, as well as all of our media buyers at Common Thread Collective, and we're giving people unique access in order to access all of these trainings, get a dedicated Facebook media buyer coach, and access to our private Facebook group. So this is the best platform if you want to learn how to scale your ad accounts, and you'll get access to all the decks I just presented, as well as way more in-depth resources on all the topics, plus so much more. So something we're offering is we're offering $100 off for the next 3 days. So our monthly membership is $247. It's such a great deal. I've never believed in a course or a membership as much in my entire life. I would highly recommend, if you're trying to scale your ad platform, that youradmission.co is the way to go. And if you're looking to partner with an agency, you can work with us at Common Thread Collective. We would love to partner with you to help you with your ad buying strategy or content development. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please feel free to contact me. I have my website there as well as my Twitter. I love tweeting about ad strategies, so please tweet me back on there. And I'm so excited to hear from you. And like I said, we'll be sending out the replay. Feel free to message me. I can send you the deck link as well, and to answer any questions. Thank you guys so much.
Savannah, thank you so much. That was absolutely incredible. Lots of wonderful feedback already. Of course, we've left a link in the chat. So if you can give us some feedback with regards to that session, and of course, you can get Savannah's slides there as well if you just follow that link. Savannah, we've got about 4 minutes to go through 41 questions. But
Let's do it.
Let's try our best here. Okay, question number 1 from Kenneth Butler. How would you use dynamic ads when you're selling or marketing a service, not a product?
Yeah, I don't think it does work if you're selling sorry, I'm getting an echo. There we go. If you aren't selling a product, then I don't think dynamic ads would work in terms of uploading a product catalog, but you can use dynamic creative. So you can upload different creative variations if you're selling a service.
Superb. And from Lisa Finch, how will you use dynamic ads when you're selling a service, not a product? Actually, we've kind of just covered that as well. So let's actually go to Mike's one, which is when targeting business owners with a lead generation objective, using automatic placements has shown to be terrible on Instagram. I get leads from wannabe rappers and millennials who are self-proclaimed entrepreneurs, huge waste of budget. I tried to add a negative criteria to eliminate this, but then the whole campaign flops. So how can he prevent this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would think about, why is Facebook's algorithm optimizing towards Instagram and putting your budget there? That must think that Facebook has a great reason to put your budget there. And I would trust the algorithm, as hard as that may seem, that the algorithm is actually working in your best interests and it's not trying to waste your money. I think you will still get better results utilizing automatic placements than trying to pick manual placements.
And Sabina's saying, when you test the creatives and drill down, do you duplicate the ad set and start fresh, or add new ads to the current ad set / campaign?
Yeah, so for dynamic creative testing, I'll create a new ad set. But if I'm just building out normal ads as not in dynamic creative testing, I'll just add creatives to an existing ad set. So I want to keep all my learnings on a singular ad set. I don't want to just be creating new campaigns every ad set, every time I get new creatives. So adding it to existing ad sets and campaigns is the way to go.
And Carolina's saying, should I use automatic placements for both retargeting and prospecting campaigns?
Yes.
If we just have yes, no answers, then we're going to get through all the questions here.
Great.
Lisa Finch, how would you use dynamic ads when you're selling / marketing a service, not a product? That's been upvoted again, but we kind of covered that one, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to Roosevelt, and that's, what's a minimum budget for CBO? Do you use CBO for retargeting?
Yep, CBO everything. I don't have one campaign that's not on CBO. You don't need a minimum budget, but I would recommend having 3 to 5 ad sets within a CBO and then a maximum of 3 ads on within each ad set. But CBO everything.
And Eric Lim is saying, for CPG brand marketers, most of the ad placement is made by the media agency. So how do we know if campaign is running at optimum level and on a timely basis?
Yeah, I would have to contact your agency and say, hey, do I have automatic placements turned on? Or if you have access to your own ad account, you can edit the ad set and then you'll be able to see if they're using automatic placements.
Great. And Yum is saying, how many days do you recommend dynamic ads to run in order to leave Facebook enough time to collect data and decide where to place the ads effectively?
For sure. So Facebook recommends a minimum of 50 conversions in order to get out of the learning phase. Sometimes you can get out of the learning phase faster. You can check the progress of where you are in the learning phase, but you need to give it enough time and patience. Patience is so important in media buying in order for Facebook, in order to start optimizing.
Now, let's do 3 more quick questions. Number 1, Carolina. I think we've done that one, actually, so I'm going to click done there. We'll go to Lorenz Carollo. For DABA, how long and how much budget does Facebook need to determine which products to show in the prospecting stage?
Yep, so same as before, it needs to get out of the learning phase. Facebook recommends putting a significant budget and broad audiences. It does take longer to learn. So you have to be patient with DABA. It's something you should just keep on in the background, let it optimize for a few weeks. It does take patience. That's what I've learned with DABA.
Roosevelt saying, is there a formula to figure out what the ROAS should be?
It's going to depend on your cost of goods and how much you're paying for ad management. There's so many factors that's going to determine what your ROAS should be in relation to your margins.
Lovely. And let's go to Christy L for the last question, which is, what are the top do's and don'ts for a new brand startup on Facebook and Instagram?
Do's is invest in creative and a great strategist in order to think through the creative testing process. Definitely utilize the Power 5 and don't waste your time trying to manually hack the system. Just follow Facebook best practices and focus your energy on creatives and your product.
Absolutely superb. Well, of course, you can find Savannah over at commonthreadco.com. Savannah, thank you so much for giving us a wonderful presentation and answering so many questions so well today. So thanks again for the session.
For sure. Thank you guys so much. I hope to hear from some of you soon.